YouTube? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We got a good video today. We're diving into a topic that I've seen in the comments of, I don't know, damn near 80% of the videos that we post on this channel. Now, obviously, we're posting videos about the hypothetical trades and, the what-if scenarios. We're reacting to guys' highlights. Who knows if those types of trades will ever get done, but they're still a blast to react to and sort of ponder about, is that type of player worth trading for? But one comment that I'm getting in these videos constantly is, hey, Ev, do you really think the Celtics are going to make a blockbuster trade either this offseason now with only a couple months left or, some point during this season? And that's what I'm here to answer today. Before we get into that, guys, please hit that subscribe button and like this video and then comment down below, yes or no, do you think the Celtics are going to make another trade this offseason / before the trade deadline this upcoming year, or are they done with trades for now? And when I say trade, I really kind of want to focus on are they going to go out there and make a worthwhile, newsworthy kind of blockbuster type trade? Those types of little trades, I'm not necessarily talking about those. I'm talking about swinging for the fences on a trade, because obviously there's so much talk lately about, hey, are the Celtics going to go for another superstar and trade for another superstar, so on and so forth. So that's what I mean when I say the Celtics going to make another trade. So yeah, I figured we'd jump on a video to actually just just address this topic in its own video, because again, we're posting so many sort of what if scenarios and we're having fun on the channel, and I love doing the daily uploads and whatnot for you guys, but the same questions always commented saying, hey, is this just a hypothetical? Do you think the Celtics are really going to make a trade? And it gets me thinking, because looking at what the Celtics have done this offseason, it makes me wonder if there's either more trades to come or if they're all said and done. They're not making any more moves. They're going to roll with what they have. So before I give my total take on, do I think they're going to make another big trade or not? Let's just go down two paths here. The first path being, if the Celtics stink, underwhelm expectations, everything like that. If the Celtics are no good next year for the first couple months of the year, they get to the trade deadline, it's like, oh, well, we stink. What do we do? I feel like your gut reaction will be, oh, you got to make a trade to get better. But when I kind of peel it back and I pump the brakes and say, okay, you know what? If the Celtics stink next year for the first half of the year prior to the deadline, I think that rules out any sort of trade possibility, because all of these one-year deals and manageable contracts and all of the things that they did this offseason that looks like they're going to make a splash next year in free agency, if the Celtics go out there and stink it up next year for the first half of the year, they're going to go, all right, let's chalk it up. We're not going to make any progress here. We're not going to say, okay, let's go make it better. No, it'll be a throwaway year, and I believe that wholeheartedly. I think if they go out there and have a really, really underwhelming first half of the year up until the trade deadline, they're going to say, you know what? That sucks, but there's always this offseason to make a move. They're not going to try and right a wrong next year. It just doesn't make sense. I'm sure a lot of people already think that the Celtics are sort of in a building year and a learning year to begin with. Why would they go and try and, risk something to bring in a player that may or may not help a season that already seems like it's chalked up as a bad year? So that's sort of the first path of okay, if the Celtics stink, I don't see a trade happening. The next path is where I think that a trade becomes maybe kind of sort of a little bit more realistic. If this Celtics team goes out there in the first half of the year next year, starts to sort of, blow away expectations, they have a serious chance of, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, possibly getting to the finals, all that good stuff, I could see them get a little bit more aggressive and say, you know what? Some of these names that we've been rumored to be interested in, we might pull the trigger on one of these names. Why? Well, because we are at that spot where we just need a lift over the edge, and if we can get that other superstar or another big name, that could be a massive upgrade on a team right now. Obviously, hypothetically, if they're playing well at the halfway mark next year, on a team right now that's already about to get to that point where they just need a little bit more of a boost. So I think that could actually be a potential sort of scenario where the Celtics go out there, play really, really well, and then all of a sudden they get a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more risky and can gamble on trading for a guy that, could put them over the top per se. And all of these names that we've reacted to on the channel or talked about, or all these rumors, they're all the sort of, oh, you're only getting a rental player, his contract's up at the end of the year. That's why I say the Celtics would have to be really good next year to even bring that possibility into it, because they obviously have to give up talent to bring in talent, and if the talent they're bringing in may not even play next year, it's like, oh boy, is that risk worth the reward? And if you are at a point where the reward could be an NBA championship just by bringing in one more piece, then I do think you pull the trigger on that risk. But if you're kind of a middle of the road team, or like we talked about earlier in the video, a bad team, I'm cool with it. Like, I really don't think that the Celtics are going to be trying to pull the trigger on that. I wouldn't be surprised if Brad Stevens pulls the trigger on that, because he's already shown to be pretty damn aggressive. Like, he's making move after move after move. The guy gets bored week after week and it's like, oh, I got to make another move. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brad Stevens were to take the chance on bringing in a guy for a half a year to possibly win a championship. I'm not saying that's going to happen, because I think, you know, if we're to sort of transition this video now to my true take and sort of yes or no, do I think the Celtics are going to make a big trade this season? I don't think they are. And I'm sorry if you feel like you had to sit through sort of the what ifs and whatnot of this video, but that is my take, that I don't see the Celtics really making any more of a splash than they already have. And I think they've made a pretty good splash. I know the NBA world doesn't really seem to think that they've made, you know, that much of a splash, but I don't think the Celtics splash is getting any bigger. They've made so many moves. I have a feeling they're going to say, let's ride it out and see what we got. And again, to kind of full circle tie it in, like I talked about at the beginning of the video, all of these sort of guys they've brought in, their contracts speak to just being off the books at the end of this year and being able to manage them for next year type of thing if they need to. Like, Al Horford's not guaranteed next year, all that type of stuff. That just tells me they are going to try and play the waiting game and make a splash in the next offseason. So as much as I don't think that I would hate, like, I think I would like them to go out there and be uber aggressive, even if it was to be for like half a year of a guy, if the Celtics were good. I don't think that we're going to see that, and that's probably the smart one. Like I say that I would love to see them be aggressive. That isn't necessarily the best way to manage a basketball team, obviously, you know? So I think that, you know, barring the Celtics going out there and just being absolutely a killer team, like all of a sudden, you know, they're 1-2 in the conference, surprisingly. If that's the case, then maybe I could see a trade to try and, you know, put them over the top, because they need to be better than Brooklyn, need to be better than the Bucks. I don't see them being there right now. So if I were to give my take on it, you know, gun to my head right now, I don't see the Celtics pulling the trigger on another big trade this season. I think we have about a year's to wait. I think we're going to see a firework type offseason next year, I hope, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in terms of trades, I do think the Celtics are probably done for now. And when I say trades, again, I'm talking about a trade that actually moves the needle. They might go out there and get, you know, a role player or a bench player, something like that, you know, at the deadline or even before the season starts or mid-season, that type of thing. But I'm talking about any of these big names that we've heard them rumored to be in on, that type of thing. I think barring the idea that, you know, maybe the Celtics go out there and are a true contender without making a trade, I think, you know, if they go out and do what we're probably expecting them to do, I don't think we're going to be seeing a trade being made. So there's my take on it. I figured I would address the most common comment as of late in the comments that I see on the videos of, do you think the Celtics are going to make another trade? What are we looking at here for the rest of the offseason or the trade deadline? That's my take. I don't see that happening unless the Celtics blow away expectations to start the year next year. Hope you guys liked that video. Make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and then always hit that subscribe button as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.